Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening at Albany City Council meeting, January 28th, 2026 at 6 p.m. I call the meeting to order. Would you please all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? We have a packed house tonight, so when you get called up, let's get it moving and make it happen. Roll call, please.
Counselor Newton,
What up?
Counselor Thompson,
Here.
Counselor Van Dremelen,
Hello.
Counselor McLeod,
Present.
Counselor Smith, Counselor McGee,
Present.
Mayor Johnson.
Here. So up next is adoption of the consent calendar. So what I've done is councilors requested to move item 3, what is it, 3E?
E.
3 Echo to 7 Golf, so item 7 and action items. So council, what do you want to do with the remainder of the consent agenda?
I'd move to adopt the remainder of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We're doing a bulk of appointments, and I know appointments are, it's hard to get people to be volunteers, but I have a couple that just missed this deadline that are coming to fulfill my requirements, and I wish you all the best in getting people to fill these positions.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you. Passes. Next is presentations and ceremonies. State of Municipal Court presentation by Judge Jessica Mayer. There she is. Thank you, Jess, for being here.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice to be here. Every time I come and I sit down here, I feel like the roles have really reversed, and it's good to sit down here once in a while. So thank you for the opportunity to come and give the state of the courts. I've got some updates, but first I feel like it's important to go through maybe some thank yous and to recognize some people because we have a lot of great partnerships within the city, and a lot of things happen within the municipal court. A lot of people play a role in that. First, I always like to thank our city attorney, Sean Kidd, and his staff, Laura especially, who are so professional, do such a great job in everything that they do when they come before the court, and we appreciate his work. And for Laura, they're efficient, they're extremely knowledgeable, they've been doing this a long time, and we appreciate our partnership with them. We have a great court-appointed attorney, Eric Moeller. He's the individual who will represent criminal defendants who can't afford to retain an attorney. So Eric steps in, and he is who represents those individuals, and he also does a great job. We appreciate his professionalism and his knowledge and his willingness to take on that caseload and his diligence in doing that. We love our relationship with the Albany Police Department. We're so proud to be a part of the city of Albany because of their great reputation. Chief Harnden, who's here, and Captain Drum and Captain Pierce, Lieutenant Libra, everyone that comes before the court, all of our patrol officers, they come well prepared, they're well trained, they're compassionate, they're professional. And they're a group that we can all, I feel like, be very proud of within our city. We appreciate them a lot. And I always have to give a special shout out to our favorite Albany Police Department employee. Her name is Tara Williams, and I don't know if any of you know Tara. She is so fantastic. She wears a lot of hats at the police department, one of which is I call her our APD liaison, but she's so much more than that. She's our victim services advocate. She is out in the community tirelessly figuring out things that need to be done. She works with connecting people with services. Within the court, she reaches out to victims of crimes to make sure that they're being heard and that if there's restitution owing, that that is brought before the court. And it's so nice to have her. She's at most of our court proceedings, at least our criminal proceedings, And just having her in the courtroom is such a great asset to us, to have her knowledge base. She has some very specific qualifications. She's been doing this a long time, and we just appreciate Tara so much for what she brings into the municipal court, and we're grateful that she chooses to work at the Albany Police Department and in the city of Albany, and that we have her here. It's a really great thing. We work a lot with Lynn County Mental Health as well, because we run our mental health court program, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But they've had some turnover in the last few years, but the people they've assigned to our mental health court have really stepped up, and as the months go by, have continued to improve and really connect with those individuals who are participating in mental health court, and coordinate with us and with them to make sure that they can be successful. And we appreciate those people. Well, it's Russ who mainly comes over from mental health, but not only does Russ come over, but within Lynn County Mental Health, there are treatment program or providers, there are case managers, and they will come into our mental health court and be there for those people who are participating. And we're just grateful that they spend that time and they put that effort in for us. Gina, our finance director, we love her so much. We're so grateful she oversees the court. We can tell she really cares about us. She visits us. She helps problem solve with us, and we're grateful for her knowledge base and her expertise. And just have to mention her willingness to participate with the court staff in the annual Halloween costume competition. As you've seen, they do a great job. And also for Peter and Kayla and their great work and their support of the court. We're so grateful for them. And for the municipal court staff, last but not least, who are just a fantastic group. September Ridgway is our administrator. She's not here today. But I'm so grateful for all of them, for Jaleesa, who is here, and maybe she'll introduce herself in a minute, but she's our deputy court administrator. For our full-time clerks, we have April, Jen, and Abby, who's our newest court clerk. And then we have a part-time clerk, Cheryl. They do a difficult job. I always like to think, the people who come to the municipal court aren't always happy to be there. And so there's, emotions can run high. Sometimes we're seeing people on not their greatest day, or because of not their greatest day. And I've watched our municipal court clerks over these years just be so patient and loving and want to problem solve with these people. And just the patience level is so astounding. And you really have to have that to be a court clerk. And I'm grateful for their diligence. They're efficient, they're smart, they're just on top of it. The workload that we have is extreme, and they get it done, and they make my job so wonderful. And we're grateful for the city council too, for Mayor Johnson, who walks by the court as it's in session and always waves. And I'm so grateful to see that happy smiling face in the hallway, and just for your support. And we know you're out there, and we appreciate you being there. And I know each of you care so much about Albany and about our constituents, and we're grateful for that. So I want to go over just a few things and then give you some time to ask me questions. I know we have a packed courtroom, council room today. So I know I work in efficiency, so I know I don't have too much time. But I do want to talk briefly about mental health court, because we have some new counselors who might not know about it. So just briefly, on the fourth Wednesday of every month, we have a special docket, and we call it mental health court. And what that docket is a group of defendants who, with the blessing of APD, if there's a victim, and of the city attorney and their attorney, who's usually our court-appointed attorney, Eric Moeller, enroll in this program if we believe, or that group believes, that they could benefit from mental health services. Or maybe their crime is related to a mental health issue. Sometimes they're already receiving mental health services through Lynn County Mental Health or Benton County, or with the county where they live. They're not required to do this program, but we offer it to them, I should say. We don't make them do it. But if they would like to enroll in the program, then and everyone is on board, then they come to a special docket. So they're not in a courtroom full of everybody else that's there for the criminal docket. They're there at a special time, which is 10 o'clock on the fourth Wednesday. It's a more intimate group, and we can go over what they're facing. So the great thing about mental health court is we set aside, or we kind of push to the side, the pending criminal cases while they're in the program. And the whole goal of the program is to have them enroll in these mental health services, whether it's through Lynn County or Benton County or wherever they live, and comply and be successful in that program. And so what we do is we set their case over, sometimes 1 month at a time, sometimes 2, and if they're doing really well, sometimes 3, and we just check in with them at that docket, 10 o'clock on the 4th Wednesday. And Lynn County Mental Health comes, their case providers come. Sometimes if they're living in a special housing situation, their housing manager will come, and we'll just chat about how they're doing and what support they need. And the whole goal, and we've been able to graduate 15 people this year, is to be able to dismiss their underlying criminal charges if they can enroll in this program and be successful. And I know I say this every time I talk to you, but it is the best part of my job to do mental health court, because I see these people who come in at the beginning and who have made a mistake and who are in a bad place, and as they enroll in their mental health program, and the program's different for every person. They go to mental health and they're like, okay, this person might need medication management. This person might need a therapy session or group session. So it's different for everyone. But I see them change and really start to love themselves and to be more independent, to have stable housing. And it's just these graduations, literally I get teary and we clap, and it's just the most fantastic thing. We feel just so proud, and I'm sad, I don't know about Jaleesa, but I'm sad when they graduate, and I tell them this, I'm like, we're gonna miss you, we're gonna miss seeing you. And one of the greatest parts of these graduations is I always ask them, what was the secret? Like for you, how did this, what did you do to make yourself successful? And hearing each of their stories, and then they hear each other's stories, is so rewarding, and I love it. I love mental health court. Anyway, so I want to talk about that. So I do need to talk about numbers, because I feel like you probably want to hear about it, even though I know that's not what our goal is in the municipal court, revenues and things like that, but I am prepared to talk about that. So I'm going to tell you the difference between last year and this year. Not surprisingly, because we have added some red light and speed camera to our city. There was an uptick in our number of violation filings. And by uptick, I mean they more than doubled between 2024 and 2025, which we expected, I know. We did have, and just as a history, so in January, we already had the Geary and Queen set up, but that was just red light for a long time. And then in January, we added a speed, or the city added speed detection to that intersection. So that became live in January. And then in April, the North Albany and Thornton Lake, that went live, issuing citations. In the beginning of September, we had the Geary and Santiam, and that's the one that's like behind Petco, went live. And then Queen and Elm, so down by the high school, West Albany High School, at the beginning of October. So we haven't had a full year yet of most of these, just the Geary and Queen last January. So our number of violation filings in 2024 was 4,069. In 2025, it was 10,063. So it did more than double, and we expect that to continue to go up, and the hope is eventually plateau and maybe go back down as behaviors change. So stay tuned for that. We're very new to all of these intersections, so we're going to be watching that. As far as revenues, of course, revenues also increased. Last year in 2024, the total court revenue was just over $1 million, $1,015,832. This year it was $1,577,000, so about a $560,000 increase in total revenue. And then as that relates to the net revenue to the city, because there are some fines and fees that we have to split with, that we have to send money to the state, money to the county. It was an increase of $347,000 over the year. On a silver lining, our criminal filings went down by 118. So That's something. So I don't know what that is in relation to, but I hope it's because we have less crime in the city, but who knows? Less misdemeanors, I should say. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about, and then you can ask me questions, you probably have a lot, is we had our new ordinance passed, and we decided, we knew that that was going to come, and so we decided, well, let's start a new diversion program, because why wait? And so the beginning of October, we began this new diversion program where we eliminated the age. And I guess I should really thank the city of Salem, because we contacted them, and when I say we, I mean September, contacted their court administrator, and they shared all their forms with us, which was so fantastic, and kind of gave some guidance as to how those forms are used and what their program looks like. And so we adopted those forms, and in a lot of ways adopted their program. So it was very, very helpful to have them assist with that, at least all the forms. We did that because when we expanded that program and we dropped that age requirement, it opened up like a lot of different people, many, many more people who would qualify for the program. And so we wanted to make sure there was something in place that was very, it was more organized and less of, just because we were doing it more often. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we decided to contact the city of Salem and say, what's worked for you? So we're grateful for them and for their help. And so that I think overall, and maybe I'm sure you'll have some questions about it, has changed the dynamic in the courtroom for our violations docket, because that's one extra option that people have. And while it does take us as a court and as a staff a significant amount of more time to process those violations, in general, the people that come before the court are very grateful for that opportunity. They're very grateful when they qualify and they've never had a traffic violation before, and this was kind of a blip in their usual practices, to have the opportunity to enter into that traffic safety diversion program. And we don't know quite yet about how many people are going to be successful in the program, because we began October 1st, and we mirrored the city of Salem's time frame. They gave that 120-day window for everyone to complete the requirements, like the class that we have them do, and make sure they don't have any new convictions in that time. And so now February 1st, right, is that 120-day kind of ish point. And so we're going to be now looking back at those people who entered diversion and be like, did they do it? Like, we hope they did. We hope they did, because we don't want to have to revoke those. But overall, I feel like people are very grateful, and maybe they've expressed that to you too, to have that extra option. The prior diversion program, and I know you know this, was just something that the city had been doing for probably a decade. And when I became the judge a couple years ago, we just continued doing it that way. So, yeah, it's been great. It was like an adjustment, to get all these things in place, but we've done it, and I feel like it's going really well at this point. So, okay. Was there anything, sorry, Jaleesa, that you wanted to add? Okay, you could maybe answer some questions, but I just want to give the council an opportunity to ask me questions. I'm sorry I talk so long. I can't help it.
Okay. Council?
Go ahead. Did we get a chance to review the contract with, is Vero Mobility?
Fair mobility, yeah.
And Red Flex for the paying out? So my husband works for City of Salem, so I know you guys talked to Deb.
Yeah.
She's
Deb's
wonderful.
the best.
She is,
Yes.
I'm totally team
Yes.
Deb. She's amazing.
She's
Deborah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Deborah.
she's
Yeah, we
phenomenal.
call her Deborah, but if you, we're not on the Deb basis.
No,
yet,
it's
but
all
okay.
good. It's
Yeah.
a huge fan of her.
Yeah.
So I was curious, if we looked at our contract, I was under the impression that whenever someone did diversion, we weren't paying Red Flex, so then it would, in effect, make the tickets, because I know they're still paying the full price of the ticket. And then they're paying the presumptive fine.
Yeah.
And they're also paying additional $70 to take the course.
The class, yeah.
Yes, so I'm wondering so it's still like quite a heavy burden. So I'm wondering if there was, and maybe I just want to double check our contract, if we had to pay them for the
That's
ticket.
a really good question. What the contract says, and I'm obviously not looking at it now, but that we pay Red Flex or Vera Mobility $20 for every paid citation. So really, it's what's a paid citation? I would think, and I say this in court all the time, I'm a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer. No, we would probably
Yeah.
defer to your lawyer, Mr. Kidd. But when I would say paid citation, I would say if we're collecting money from someone on a citation, I think they believe they're going to get $20 from us for each one of those. I don't know if Mr. Kidd has looked at it, and so I guess the short answer is we've been giving them $20. That's what we've been doing. If we're told to do otherwise, then yeah, we can remove that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I haven't, I didn't know, I'm happy to look at it.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it for that particular thing, but your analysis of it would be probably what mine would be, as well as if it's a per paid citation and they are paying
That's what
on
it
the,
says.
they're getting a citation from
Yeah.
the officer, and then they're coming in, if they're paying on that citation, the presumptive fine, it would seem that Viera Mobility would certainly look at it that
Yeah.
way, that we owe them the money. And if we take the position that we don't, then we might be in some litigation with them. I don't know, but I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
I'll see if it says
Yeah.
anything different. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can double check what City of Salem does as well, because I think that they, if I recall.
Yeah.
that
Do they also use Vera up there?
They
or
use
is
the
it
same,
different?
yeah, they use the same
It's
company.
Vera also?
Yeah, the same,
Okay.
same exact company.
Yeah.
And they don't pay so since they're doing traffic school, it brings it down from like $230 to $150
Mm-hmm.
because it is, they don't pay the county or the state, they just pay like $50 to the city.
Yeah.
And then the cost of the, so I'm just trying to make sure that this is like not
Right.
an overly large financial burden on someone, like, because I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be honest, if I got like a $200 and something ticket, like that's a quarter of my grocery budget.
It's a lot
like,
of money.
And
yeah.
my kids are currently in the growing phase. So
Right.
they're eating a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure that we're being cognizant. And I understand, like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
people they're speeding. So this is like their first ticket. Like, I remember what really triggered this for me
Right.
several years ago, bringing this up, was when my neighbor, who's on a fixed income and is retired, like in his 80s, was like, oh my gosh, I got my very first ticket. He's like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm. Like of all time.
Like of all
that's
ever,
amazing,
of all
actually.
time, of all time.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal guy.
Yeah.
But that's what really triggered this, and I know that that can be a big financial burden
Yeah.
for people that are on fixed incomes, people that are
Limited,
students, yeah, you
limited
know?
incomes, yes.
Limited incomes, and
Yeah.
so just something I'd love for us to look into and see if that is
If
something
that's
we could
something
do,
we
like
can do.
it's just a process
Yeah.
change. I know that, just a question I had.
Oh, that's a good question. So, and just briefly, there are kind of two schools of thought as to the state and county fines, too. So, the risk-adverse school of thought, which is what I follow usually in my life in general, is when you're collecting money from a traffic violation or a crime, the state of Oregon is we're required to pay the state the first $50 collected, and we're required to pay the county the last 16 that's collected, and those
60
are
or 16?
16.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be so much. So that's in Oregon Revised Statutes, Chapter 153, if you wanted to look it up, but it goes
Yeah.
over like the criminal fine amounts. So I am of the opinion, and we are warned about this at every judges conference I go to, is if you have a large diversion or deferral program and you're collecting, money from this program, you are still required to pay the $50 to the state and to the county. Not every court does that. What is worrying, like our neighbors do, City of Lebanon, they do that. They on their traffic deferrals, they're giving 50 to the state, 16 to the county. City of Kaiser does too. I'm not going to call out the courts that don't, because it's probably not a good thing. But it's been a while, but maybe 10 or more years ago, the Secretary of State audited a city who was doing that, and they were required to pay back to the state that $50 per ticket.
What city was this, and when was it?
Yes.
It was the Secretary of State that audited them,
It was
correct?
the Secretary of State audit, and this is what we're told at our judges' conferences.
Okay, which city was
From
it?
our lobbyist. It's my understanding that it was the city of Bend.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll look into that.
So, yes, but so maybe, yeah, I started going to these conferences maybe 12, 15 years ago, and that's when, so we're continuously warned about it. Has it happened recently? No. But, so if the council decides this isn't something we want to do anymore, is to pay the $50 to the state and 16 to the county for the deferrals, certainly we can do that. It's just,
Well, let's make sure it's legal.
yeah, it's just, I'm risk adverse and I don't want to put the city in a position where that might happen. So I think it's worth looking into.
Yeah, let's absolutely look into that.
But I would say, you know, there's two schools of thought, and the conservative risk-adverse school of thought is, let's go ahead and pay the county, or the city and the county. Just so you know too, what those fines go to, the $50 and the 16, for the state, it goes into the criminal fine account. So that pays for things like victim services and compensating victims who aren't otherwise compensated for crimes. It goes to department, you know, safety training. It goes to juvenile programs, drug and alcohol. So those I mean, it's, you know, it's hard to part with money to the state. I realize that, but fortunately, those fines or the criminal fine account is used for like a valiant purpose, in my opinion. And then for the county, that $16 goes to also drug and alcohol treatment, juvenile programs. 60% of it does, and then the other 40% goes to county facilities security. So the security fund.
Okay, Councilor McLeod, you had something?
Yes, thank you. Last year, when you came to give this similar presentation, you also mentioned the mental health court.
Yeah.
And not too long after that, I was able to sit in on your mental health court.
Awesome.
And I got there a little bit early, and I was able to watch the end of your docket before mental health court. And when it switched over to mental health court, I could physically see the change on your face.
It's so obvious.
It was so obvious, but I loved it. It was wonderful to see how much you enjoy working with mental health court. And so I just wanted to thank you for offering that to the residents of Albany. And I really appreciated being able to sit in and see that, and to see that change on your face. It was wonderful.
Thank you, and thank you for coming.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then not too long after that, I got a red light ticket, and I was in your court as a defendant.
Thank you for coming to that as well.
But yeah, so I attended that as well because I wanted to be part of that process, to see what our residents go through when they receive a red light ticket. I could have just paid it in the mail and sent it, but I wanted to be part of that process to see what the options are, and to go to court and just go through the whole process, and so that I could I want to say witness that, but actually be a part of that, and be able to speak to that with our residents. So thank you for what you do for our city.
I appreciate that. I'm glad you come to court in all different ways.
Thank you.
Any other councilors have anything? Councilor McGee? Judge, thank you so much for your presentation, and I love the work that you do. Your staff is fantastic, and
They're
I will
great.
keep smiling and walking by and saying hi.
Thank you for doing it. All of you should come. If you walk by, smile, and we'll wave back. All right, have a nice evening.
You have a nice evening. Thank you. Next on tonight's agenda is a public hearing, consideration for reestablishment of the Hospital Facility Authority of the City of Albany, Oregon. I declare the public hearing open at 6:28 p.m. Does the staff have a report?
Good evening. So the city has had a longstanding relationship with local healthcare facilities and in providing these conduit bonds for them to do infrastructure in their areas. You know what, let me introduce, this is Greg Blond from Oric. He was here in December, I believe.
remember.
What is Oric?
Yeah, as a representative of Mennonite Village. So we have done this many times in the past. In 2021, council voted to disband the board just because the bonds were all paid off and there was an administrative burden to having to meet all the time. So we went ahead and said, you know what, we can always reestablish this at a later time. it'd been long enough that we decided that we wanted to go through the full process. So that's why we're having the public hearings, just to give people an opportunity to, come in and ask questions or to speak out about this. But we are hoping that we'll be able to reestablish this relationship and move forward in establishing this hospital facility authority.
Okay. Written materials were submitted by the deadline, so council have a chance to take a look at those? Okay. For those who, well, you have any questions for them before I move on? There's not a natural space for that, but I can go ahead and give you guys question time.
The only question I have is what is the, two questions. What are the financial responsibilities of the city and any administrative time that might be involved?
So actually, the city doesn't have any financial responsibility at all. Any of the costs that we incur, we can pass on. For example, we are currently working with our bond counsel, Hawkins, Delafield, and any of the costs that we have to pay them, we are not responsible for. We can pass those on. Administrative time, it's basically me for the city, and then council will be the board.
Councilman McLeod?
Mr. Mayor, did you say that we received written testimony for this hearing?
Wasn't there?
I did not receive written
Was there any
testimony
emails
for
sent
this
out?
hearing.
Oh, there wasn't? I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Different topic then. For those who wish to testify, there are 3 options available, which were described in the agenda. Those who are registered to speak during the meeting will be called upon first. Any names on the list? Nobody? Okay, there's no names. We will now take comments from those who did not register. Does any member of the audience wish to speak about this item? If so, please state your name and make comments you may have for the city council to provide information for the sign-up sheet. Anybody? Nope. If you're attending virtually, turn on your camera and raise your hand to be called upon. If you are attending by phone, please unmute yourself and state your name so you can speak. Anybody? I will now call on those registered to speak. There's none. Does any staff wish to respond to the comments received? No comments. I declare the public hearing closed at 6:32 p.m. Does the council wish to discuss the plan and ask additional questions of the staff? Crickets? Okay. There is a resolution on considering on page 30 of your packet. Oh, you had something?
I was going to move to adopt the resolution as written.
Well,
in the
I have to
packet.
read this, though.
Okay.
Okay. There's a resolution for consider on page 30 of the agenda packet. What's this 30 here? Would the councilor like to make a motion?
Yes, I move to adopt the resolution as written.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Next, item 6, public comment. Public comment is a time for Albany residents to speak and for councilors to listen. The council will discuss topics or make decisions during public comment, but will take the comments and requests under advisement. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and must follow the council's rules and observe the same standards of decorum. If unable to do so, they will be asked to step down and take a seat in the audience for the remainder of the meeting. When you get to the microphone, please give your name and state whether or not you live in the city of Albany. The city council has written public comment submitted on the Human Relations Commission for their January 27th meeting. Additionally, written public comment was received from Jesse Doyle and Eric Larson for tonight's council meeting. Is anybody online? So during public comments, it's 3 minutes, and I'm going to call up Katie Please, Plias,
Please.
please.
Rhymes with fleece.
Thank you. Is there a clock that I'm watching, or is someone just going to? There we
there.
go, thank you. I'll go ahead and start. My name is Katie Please. I'm an Army combat veteran and a resident of Albany. I currently serve on the city's Human Relations Commission, and I'm here today because I believe our city has an opportunity to rise to the occasion for safety for all of our residents. 18 days ago, an Albany resident with no criminal record was profiled and abducted by federal agents while shopping at a local business. She was violently detained, leaving only broken glass and an empty vehicle for her family to recover. This abduction has forced a local family to make complex decisions that no family should have to make. Spend thousands of dollars to release someone who has committed no crime back to their own home, which is akin to kidnapping for ransom, or to follow through with deportation. The latter decision creates a separated family of U.S. citizen children who are active participants in this city. These children either have to live without their parent in the U.S. or leave their native country to live as a united family. All of these options are unnecessarily cruel. When events like this happen, silence from City Hall creates a vacuum. We don't have to look far to see what leadership could look like in this moment. The mayor of Philomath has publicly condemned violent and unlawful federal actions. Just yesterday, the mayor of Corvallis hosted a State of the City town hall to engage directly with residents. We see cities like Minneapolis, under the pressure of federal occupation, choose transparency. They have provided their residents with clear information and resources on city-federal interactions through their website. They have chosen to lead so their residents don't have to wonder what is happening in their city or where their leaders stand. In contrast, Albany has remained silent. I know through conversations with the police chief that APD and the city don't receive advance notice of federal immigration enforcement activity. Often, they only learn of these incidents from the impacted residents themselves. While I don't expect the city to share information that it doesn't have beforehand, I am deeply concerned by the lack of communication after the fact. At least one city councilor learned of the most recent abduction through the newspaper, not from the city manager or APD. I understand that that councilor has requested a formal notification process for future federal activity and has yet to receive a response. When our leaders are kept in the dark, they cannot adequately lead or inform the public. This lack of communication and support extends to the citizen advisory groups. After the HRC spent months planning a topic tee to facilitate community conversation, the city failed to provide promised marketing resources. This forced city staff into the unfair position of canceling the event for a lack of traction that was impossible to gain because the city provided no timely notice to the public. It is troubling that while our neighbors in Corvallis host town halls to ensure public voices are heard, Albany cannot provide basic resources for a resident-led conversation. Based on the response to last night's HRC meeting, our residents are clamoring for a safe space to share their experiences. I'm calling on the city to take 2 immediate steps. Protect our residents, identify a clear plan to inform city leadership and the public when federal immigration activity has occurred, and provide residents access to the resources they need, and uphold your commitment to volunteers, provide the resources necessary for advisory groups to meet their missions, or provide honest information about what the city can actually support. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for the written comment. Christopher Arnold?
Hello, I'm Christopher Arnold, a resident of Albany. I wanted to make a comment about the resolution responding to current federal immigration actions. I want to express my support for the resolution and for its core values. Albany is a diverse city. It is a safe city. Those two things are not in tension with each other. In fact, they depend on each other. The reason Albany remains safe is because people feel able to live, work, seek medical care, send their kids to school, and interact with local institutions without fear. This resolution focuses on prevention rather than reaction, and I believe that is exactly the right approach, providing clear information about rights, offering access to resources, and working proactively with community organizations help prevent situations from escalating into crises that put residents and families and even public safety officers at risk. When people understand their rights, they know where to seek help, and they're less likely to panic, withdraw, or avoid essential services. That matters not just for those who may be undocumented, but for the entire community. Fear and confusion creates instability. Information and trust creates safety. I also appreciate that this resolution recognizes immigration status issues as civil matters that can be addressed through proper legal channels when people are given access to accurate guidance and support. Helping residents connect with legitimate pathways, legal resources, and rights education is not about defying federal law. It's about ensuring that people are treated humanely and that outcomes are lawful, orderly, and nonviolent. Importantly, this resolution gives the city the ability to evaluate opportunities, act proactively, rather than only responding after harm has already occurred, as we heard right before. We should not wait until conditions here resemble what we've seen in the other parts of the country. We should be taking reasonable steps before to protect our community. That way we have plans in place if and when that does happen. If Albany has resources, partnerships, and clear pipelines in place ahead of time, we greatly reduce the risk of escalation and unnecessary harm. The emphasis on collaboration with community-based organizations is especially important to me. These organizations have trust, cultural knowledge, and capacity. Partnering with them will allow the city to extend its reach without overburdening its staff or budgets. In my experience, collaboration almost always leads to better, more affordable, and more effective outcomes than trying to centralize everything or get nothing done at all. Opening up access to information, evaluation, and partnerships doesn't weaken Albany, it strengthens it. There's very little to lose here and a great deal to gain in terms of safety, trust, and long-term community stability. I urge the council to support the resolution and to continue choosing preventive, humane, and collaborative approaches that keep Albany safe for everyone who lives here. Thank you.
Christine Ferguson.
My name's Christine Ferguson, and I'm a resident of Albany, and I'm in charge of the Veterans Day Parade here in Albany, and I want to thank Peter and Carolyn and Alex and Marilyn for coming to the Veteran of the Year banquet. So you guys can put it on your calendar. It's November 10th, which is a Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. But I'm not in charge of that, so I can't tell you where it's going to be. This year's parade, even without the military, was 169 units. We are thinking about restricting the parade to somewhere between 185 and 200 units because this year's parade was 2 hours and 47 minutes long, which is a long time for families. We had 68 sponsors, and we are very happy and grateful for all of them. If you have any questions, y'all have my number. My number's all over everything. You can call me and ask the question. This year is the 75th anniversary of the parade and the 250th birthday of the country. We would like to do something super special, but we have no idea what that could be. It's a little hard to do fireworks in the rain. So if you have any ideas to how we could make this year a super special year, please get in touch with me, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Welcome back. Mark Stewart.
Good evening. My name is Mark Stewart. I was here last Monday, and I wanted to make a couple of observations about that meeting. And I apologize, this might be a little bit uncomfortable for members of the council and the gallery. I'm both thankful and a bit dismayed. I'm thankful that Councilwoman from Second Ward, Ms. McLeod, albeit at the 11th hour, did make mention of the outright murder of Alex Preddy in Minnesota by the federal government in broad daylight on video. I am dismayed that it came after everything else, including cupcakes. And I wonder if it is possibly the case that perhaps members of the council and possibly even the public are not entirely aware of precisely where they stand as Americans in the eyes of the federal government right now. And if there's any wonder about it, all you got to do is open up your ears and listen to the thunderous applause. And what I mean by that specifically And it goes against my humanity to recommend this because it's tantamount to recommending that you watch a snuff film. But for your sake and for the sake of us all, watch the videos of Alex Preddy. And in particular, I want you to pay attention to one very, very important thing, and that is the seconds in the aftermath where one of the agents runs up afterwards and, yeah! Like his football team just scored a touchdown. Celebrating. He celebrated the death of that man on camera. And then they turned around afterwards and were telling protesters that showed up, boo-hoo. Everyone in here, we all come from different races, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, creeds, religion, all of it. But at the end, we're all Americans. Alex Preddy was an American, and he was one of the best among us. And not only did they celebrate in his killing, they lied about it afterwards. Kristi Noem, Steve Miller, thank you. And from the president on down, they lied within hours trying to label him as a terrorist, none of which was true. They lied to our face and they celebrated it. If you don't know where you stand in the eyes of the federal government right now, open your ears.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick Price. Is that right? Yeah, it's Nick Price.
I am happy to know that I am the severalist person to talk about this issue. I think it's, as much as, talking about fines and everything else is great, I think it's honestly the only thing we should be talking about right now. I want to start by stressing the importance of local government not only having a plan for a federal invasion, but being ready to rise to the moment we are currently in. While you are working on this plan, I think there is a glaring issue that you need to keep in the top of your mind. We need to take a moral inventory of our police force. It is clear ICE and DHS have become a rogue agency that ignores the rule of law, and our police, and we need to know that our police are going to protect protesters from being shot. Are they going to stand idly by as warrantless raids happen to the citizens of Albany? I know from a TikTok that APD has, that they have a thin blue line flag flying in their station. This is a pivotal moment for them to decide where that line is going to be drawn. Are they going to stand shoulder to shoulder with ICE and DHS, or are you going to stand with the citizens of Albany? I was also at the recent town hall with our state elected officials, and there was plenty of people over the age of 50 going, where's the youth? Where are the youth? Well, guess what? They were there in 2020, 2021, telling you that police brutality is absolutely a problem in our country. Police brutality has gotten worse. We watched 2 people get shot in cold blood in Minneapolis. There's 2 more in Portland that we don't even know anything about, and then there's another in Arizona, and that's not even to mention the protesters who are losing fingers along with their, I can't even call them officers losing fingers. I think that right now, as our elected officials, you need to decide what you're gonna do while your citizenry is still peaceful. Thank you.
Raquel Moore, did I say it right? Did I say your name correctly?
Yeah, you did. My name is Raquel Moore. I am a resident of the city of Albany, and I am an adult child of immigrants. And I was told that to be an effective speaker at a council meeting, I should have a clear ask. The truth is that if I had any ask that I could potentially wish for, as if this was some sort of magic genie situation, I would ask for the federal government to stop killing us and our allies, stop hunting us, stop dehumanizing us just because we or our parents were born on a different side of an arbitrary line that was drawn in the dirt. However, I am aware that this ask is too large for this room, so I will not ask for that now. Instead, I will share with you that I am proud to be an American. I am honored to reside in this country. I'm grateful to live in a land where I was taught that we stand for liberty and justice for all, a land where we use language to include one another and build community together. And this starts with the language we use day to day. My ask is for the city and for those around us to not engage in using dehumanizing language when it comes to people who were born in a different country. An undocumented immigrant is no more a criminal illegal alien than a jaywalker is a criminal illegal streetwalker. Sure, both of these break the civil law of our country, but neither warrant a public shaming or perceived moral failing. These are examples of people completing tasks that meet their daily needs. And one, it is a case of somebody simply crossing the street, and another is migration to ensure that your family has its needs met. Migration is something that has occurred so long as humans have existed. Making this illegal is an intentionally man-made crisis, and I would remind you that legality does not equal morality. Using morally appropriate language and accurately describes a migrant person's lived experience helps us see the humanity in our fellow man, helps us live in harmony with one another, and leads to fewer conflicts and deaths. I provide you with these recommendations when choosing language to speak about immigrants. I encourage you to use first-person language, a person who is an immigrant. Use active verbs, people who are crossing a border. Avoid militarized language like invasion. Why don't you describe instead what you're seeing? Are you seeing a caravan of 20 who is desiring to cross a border? I will also add that there are many ways to have been born in another country and hold legal status in this country. There are student visas, work visas, asylum seekers, refugee status people, legal US residents, and naturalized citizens. My parting thoughts are that we have already lost too many lives this year alone to a topic that does not have to be this inflammatory. Using language that reminds us of one another's humanity will help de-escalate the feeling of conflict and lead to a more peaceful discussion that can hopefully preserve human lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Christian Herrera? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Thor Halshachik? I'm so sorry.
Hi, my name is Thor Halchasek. I'm a resident of Albany. A while ago, I spoke to you guys about starting my Eagle project of installing 3 bike stations in local Albany parks. Since then, I have installed all 3 of the. I've fundraised and installed all 3 stations in, I believe, Henderson, Doug Killen, and Grand Prairie Park. It's what parks they're in. And I figured I'd just stop by and fill you guys back in that those have all been installed now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Christian Herrera now. Thank you for understanding.
Good afternoon. My name is Christian Herrera, and I currently reside in Albany, and I'm a junior at South Albany High School. My goal tonight is to share my perspective and advocate for the Hispanic community in Albany that has recently been affected by the prominent presence of ICE groups. 2 weeks ago, my family was negatively impacted after my mother was detained by multiple ICE agents while out briefly shopping. They had surrounded her vehicle in a parking lot and then proceeded to ruthlessly break into her window. And as a student, I understand the fear that comes with the oppressive actions of ICE. Having trouble to concentrate in school is a common occurrence. Worries that come with the thought of seeing parents detained impedes academic performance among many Hispanic students like myself. My proposition for the City Council of Albany is to strive towards solutions that protect the innocent, hardworking immigrant families that reside in Albany. Doing so will foster an environment in where determined students can flourish both academically and socially. Because at the end of the day, the objective of undocumented families is to provide for their children and give them the opportunities that they did not have grown up, even if that means making big sacrifices like leaving behind their own goals and aspirations to raise their family in the land of opportunity. And as an older brother, I want to be the strong example for my little sister of what hardworking people like us can achieve in a country that views us with prejudice and persecutes us. And you know what? ICE won't stop me from doing that. and I have faith in the Albany Council that you guys can support minorities in this action. Thank you.
Thank you. Ray Hiltz. Ray Hill still here?
I'm Ray Hiltz. I live in Albany. And I'm going to change the subject, even though maybe I shouldn't, because I am concerned as to what is happening in our country. And anyway, change the subject is, I interviewed 20 people, and a quarter of them were women, and the rest were men. Anyway, several years ago, and Mayor Alex can remember, and probably Marilyn Smith can remember, but some of you don't remember, but I pushed the gas tax. Anyway, our state is in turmoil. They don't know what they're going to do because there was an initiative or a referendum of over 200,000 voters that said no gas tax. In my survey, I found that 2 of the people did not drive. 3 did not know anything about the gas tax. 2 were undecided. 3 said yes. 9 said no. We have crumbling streets, and I'm sure you've been driving over some of them. I have. And so anyway, I encourage you to look at a utility fee. I know that's been in discussion before, but I encourage it. I drive a Prius, so the gas tax wouldn't have really much effect on me, but it would on others. And so with my survey of 20 people, 9 of them said no. And it looks like that's similar to what the 200,000 people said. So I think you need to look seriously at a utility fee because our streets need to be repaired.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you for your time.
Rich Carter, valid score.
Good evening. My name is Rich Carter. I'm a resident of Albany, but I have a business that's based resident of Corvallis, but business based in Albany. I'm here to speak about my own company's request for extension of the enterprise zone benefit that is under discussion later in the docket here. For those of you who don't know, I am one of the 2 owners of a business called Valiscore. This is a small business. We're not a big corporation. Just to give you some idea, my wife just finished payroll today. That's who does my payroll. It's about 20 people that work for us. So I think there's been some misperceptions as to what my business is. This is a small business that's trying to build a manufacturing site in our great city to really help benefit our citizens here. And so we're an innovative manufacturing company that builds products for healthcare applications and advanced semiconductors. This specific factory going up in Albany is going to be the only company in the world making etchants that's critical for making memory chips. We're the only ones outside Asia that do that, and we're really proud of that. And it's something that I think will really help secure our supply chain for these sorts of important things. We anticipate spending over $20 million in investment in this additional phase of development. This will employ about 50 people in addition to the about 20 people that work for us already. The reason we chose Albany is because Albany gets how to do manufacturing. There's a long history of doing this, whether you look at Oregon Freeze Dry, what used to be Synthetech, then became W.R. Grayson, is now Lackamas Labs. You look at all the amazing titanium-based work that's being done here. There's a lot of great manufacturing done here. The reason we picked to locate in Albany is because this city gets how to do manufacturing, and it's an honor to be a part of the city. And we really do think that the jobs we'll create from this will help benefit the benefit the city and help benefit the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Next on tonight's agenda, I did some moving around. Next up on the item is 7A, consideration and resolution responding to the current federal immigration. Is there a copy of the resolution somewhere? There? I read it earlier. Yeah, I read it earlier. So any discussion, council? Yeah, well, F, I moved it up to A.
In the supplemental agenda. So I would like to start, if that's all right, sir. Discussion?
Sure.
Okay, so this resolution, I proposed this resolution. This was written by a local community leader by the name of Nancy Greenman. I know probably everyone on the dais knows Nancy, and I'm sure a lot of people in the audience here know Nancy. And if you know Nancy, you know that Nancy is all about collaboration, working with the community, working with people, about being informed, being educated, and knowing what your rights are. She's an attorney. So this resolution is about having a resource for people in our community to know what their rights are. That's all. This is not about anything else you may have read online. There are people in this community that like to tell half-truths and stir the pot and get people angry about things that are not what's going on. So I just wanted to mention that about this resolution, and I do hope that my fellow counselors have read the resolution, understand the facts of the resolution, and I hope you will join me in approving this.
Yeah, I read it, and it seems really straightforward and common sense, and I will join you in supporting it.
Thank you.
Well, the only concern I had is the number. It's not bad. It's just the number at the top. It's like, for me, it'd be somebody would read that and send that into ICE.
I'm sorry, reading
the
what?
first paragraph, the first sentence, the number of people that are here, the 8,000 people, and I'm going to support this. It's just that having that number there, someone say, you know, look what Albany is. They have 8,000.
It says there's 8,000 Hispanic people here. What's the problem with that?
What I'm concerned about is it going to bring unintended consequences. That's all.
It's literally just a statistic.
Just like how there's like 90 some odd percentage of like white people or like 0.5% Jewish people.
So I'm just making a statement that I'm concerned it may bring undue consequences.
I have a comment. I have a question about item number 3 on the second page of the resolution, about to explore and where appropriate partner with community-based organizations to pursue grant funding opportunities that may support individuals and families impacted by federal immigration enforcement actions. Does that indicate that the city would be a party to those grants, or simply provide some type of help in finding them? We don't have that's not something that we have done for outside agencies. We could certainly voice support for a grant application.
That's primarily what it's
That's what it
intended
means,
for.
okay.
And Mayor, just to maybe alleviate some of your concerns on that first issue, the original form of this actually had different numbers broke out of how many Hispanic members were in our community and how many were yet to be documented, we did remove that for the very reason that you're concerned about, I think, as to not draw attention to the city for that or those people.
And I was hoping we wouldn't have to draw attention to the fact that was in an earlier draft
well,
of this resolution.
We were debating all of their mission, so.
So just a minute. So we're clear. I am married to a family of immigrants. My father and mother-in-law immigrated here from Mexico and Italy. So don't think I don't care about my Hispanic brothers and sisters. I have nephews and nieces that are Hispanic or Latino. So let's clear that up right now. This means a lot to me. I cried when they killed Mr. Preddy because I'm a veteran as well, and I serve people like he does. And to see that happen, I was up to 1 o'clock in the morning, mad as hell. So please don't think the city council doesn't care. Councilor Benjamin.
Just wanted to point out that the American Community Survey is a program run by the United States Census. So if we're concerned about the federal government knowing that statistic, I can assure you they already know.
Councilor Newton.
What I wanted to mention, and I don't like mentioning my work, but one thing that I know that we've done, so I work at the state, we do have something that's called the BIPOC caucus, and we don't, whereas we're not posting, we're not hosting the, to get to Councilor Smith's question, we aren't a partner with them, with the grants or funding programs, but we'll display them on that page for the legislature for that caucus. And so then folks will be able to know, have one place to know where to get that information. That's how I'm visualizing this when I read it. And I believe that might be the intent.
I mentioned at a council meeting last month the information that is on the City of Hillsborough's website. They have done a very comprehensive job of putting together lists of community resources, what people can and can't do legally, where they can find help. That was their way of addressing some considerable unrest in Hillsborough about a month ago. And they've made it very clear that local government has very little authority to do anything but offer help and direction. And I think that it should be the intent of this resolution. I think it's as simple as that. We all want to help. We all want to maintain peace. We want to make sure that people aren't taken away unfairly. We can't really prevent that, but we can certainly provide help to their family members and their friends and their employers by giving them the information about who to talk to, what to do, the steps to take to maintain peace and keep people together as much as possible.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, go ahead. Go ahead, Councilor.
Yeah, we saw it tonight. There is great concern in this community that is sometimes not reflective of other outlets, and I'm glad y'all came today. A couple weeks ago, there were 70 folks who came to a meeting at St. Mary's to learn about ways they can help resources if a family member is taken. And I kind of have a sense of what it takes to get 70 people out to a public meeting. And so I think that just reinforces the concern that is out there. And to recap what Councilor Smith said, unfortunately, we are so limited to what we can do fully. The guardrails I think we're all looking for, or a bunch of us on this dais are looking for, are going to come from the state legislature. But also, I have learned that there are informal, unofficial networks, kind of school-based, school building-based, to watch out, working with parents in the neighborhood to kind of be the eyes and ears and that lookout for ICE, frankly. So without saying too much detail, there are ways to help. And I think we've seen across the country, it's not so much, it is organized, but not official governmental groups that make a difference. It's people getting out, helping your neighbors, that'll make a difference. But yeah, having said all that, what this, totally in favor of what this resolution says.
Okay. You got something?
Yeah, just lastly, I concur with all of my fellow counselors up here. I just wanted to make a statement because I think we received a lot of emails regarding just people having misinformation about pretty much that we're impeding on federal whatever. And I just want to say, whenever you're attempting to help or how you're doing that, whatever that looks and feels like to you, just, you know, exercise wisdom, undergirded by integrity, and just be safe. And I think that's what this resolution intent is. And as someone who is a person of color, as a Black woman in this country and sitting on this dais and having had threats of being hung in this community, I think that us making a statement now is very important because nothing was said when that came out. And the reason why it wasn't said is because we don't want to give things legs and light all the time because it puts folks in very vulnerable positions. And so we don't want to put people in harm's way, but then definitely exercise wisdom and integrity while being safe and all.
And I think there's things we all can do with family and friends. One of the things that I do for myself, because I've been attacked before, I've been threatened before on the road in my job, I share my calendar with everybody I know that are close friends of mine. So if I disappear, they can start calling folks. Did he come to your home? Yes, he did. Call the next person. Did he make it to your home? No. But they have a starting point to look for me. So just work together, talk with each other. Let's figure out how we can protect each other. Do I have a motion?
Oh, it looks like Counselor Van Dremelman has
I'm sorry.
something else to say.
Yeah, so we'll get there. But I see this resolution as nothing more or less than standing with the rule of law and affirming what the city has already articulated our values are. And therefore, I move that we adopt this resolution as written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Newton,
Yep.
Counselor Thompson,
Yes.
Counselor Van Drimmelen,
Aye.
Counselor McLeod,
Abso-frickin-lutely.
Counselor Smith, Counselor McGee.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next on the resolution, action items is contract reward award to purchase auto extrication equipment. Chris, Fire Chief LaBelle, pages 32 and 35 in your packet.
All right, good evening. I actually have the next two agenda items, so I'll keep it brief. So we're seeking approval this evening to purchase new auto extrication equipment from C Western through a cooperative purchasing agreement. The fire department's current extrication tools are outdated. Some of the tools are 25 years old. They no longer meet the demands of modern vehicle construction, impacting efficiency and firefighter safety. We're transitioning to battery-powered tools, which provides greater performance, faster deployment, reduced maintenance, quieter operation, and improved safety and communications while we operate on scene. Currently, we have the money in equipment replacement and a grant fund to replace all the tools in our fleet. If approved, we are ready to make the purchase and would have the new tools in service in the next few months, and happy to answer any questions.
So what are you gonna do with the ones you're getting rid of them? Are you gonna sell them?
We are, and we're actually getting a little bit of money, about $22,000 from C Western for the little bit of value that's in those.
trade-in.
Obviously, yep, but since they are so old, it's kind of limited on the replacement value, so.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a small fire department somewhere. that can use it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yep.
We're gonna get $22,000 from that? That's just gonna
Yeah.
go back into like the fire department's budget?
Yeah, it's part of the purchase, so they're
Okay.
kicking it off the total price.
Are those new glasses too?
They are, what do you think?
And a new mustache.
Yeah.
All right, new look for the chief, all right.
You're a whole new man.
Yeah.
I remember when the Jaws of Life was a new thing and it was a news story at the time.
Yeah.
Big deal. So this is exciting. Battery packs are so much more convenient and
Yes.
I can just
Lighter.
imagine what a difference this will make.
Yep.
Good, and they're probably cheaper to replace than a whole engine or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. So, council?
I'll move to approve the resolution on page 34 and 35 of the packet.
Second.
All those, by motion and the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Thank you. Motion passes, Chief.
Thank you.
Next one, special procurement of ESO Solutions, Inc. for electronic fire and EMS reporting, inventory of iOS, is that iOS?
Yeah.
Software. Chris, Fire Chief LaBelle.
Okay, so requesting approval for special procurement to update our current contract with ESO Solutions. ESO is our software provider that we've had since 2012, and we use it for medical charting and fire reports, as well as our records management. We're also adding a new module for better tracking of our controlled medications and an update to iOS that would allow us to be able to purchase iPads and save money on the expensive charting tablets that we use now. Basically, the contract we currently have is just outdated, so all we're looking to do is update that to basically all the current services that they provide for us. And I'd be happy to answer any
Any
questions.
questions, council? I have a motion.
Move to approve?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Next resolution, accept and appropriate the fiscal year 2025-2026 State Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant on behalf of the Mid-Valley Local Fire Emergency Planning Committee. Chuck Perino, page 40 to 41 in your packet.
Hi, thank you. Again, we're asking for the city to accept and authorize the state hazmat grant that comes through. We've been applying for this grant for about 10 years now. It's used for a number of activities, for trainings, for exercises, which are very important for everybody. The Local Emergency Planning Committee, we're a member of that group, along with City of Corvallis, both counties, private industry, and we get together, we work on response plans for hazardous materials, and that is what this grant is used for. It's a pass-through grant from the state, and coming from the Federal Department of Transportation to the Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office, and we're applying through that. So, and we have been awarded that grant already, and we're just asking to accept and appropriate that.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
I can't say no to somebody who's giving us money. So
I'm with her.
I'm going to make a motion to accept the grants.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adopt by motion municipal judge employment contract, Gina Yeager. September Ridgeway, is she here? Nope. And 42 to 46 in your packet.
Good evening again. I have the judge's contract. Normally, we bring it forward once a year for approval. What we did differently this time is we put an auto renewal clause in there for 1-year periods. I do want to note, though, that both council and Judge Meyer can terminate this contract at any time with 30 days' notice. So this isn't something that's just going to lock in this contract forever. It's really for administrative purposes. Really, there are no changes. Any COLAs that the judge receives is the same as what non-bargainers at the city receive. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Really, there's nothing substantively different in it other than the auto renewal.
Council?
I am extremely impressed with Judge Meyer. That was the best judge's report I've heard in a long time. And it's interesting to me how municipal court procedures and personalities have changed over time, even in the time that we've been in this building. The laws have changed. It's an evolutionary thing. So I'm glad that she's our judge. Her report was uplifting and encouraging, and I think people who end up in that courtroom stand a very good chance of coming out better people. So I would move to adopt the extension of the contract as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adopt by motion Deerfield Park Reconstruction Change Order ADA Compliance Requirement. Rick Barnett, pages 47 to 48 in your packet.
Hello, good evening, Mayor and Council. I am not Rick Barnett.
Change your hair.
I know. I originally thought I was going to have to be in an aquatics program, but Rick is 2 days away from retirement, so I said, you know what? You don't have to do this. So he's enjoying his evening with his family before he's with them even more. So, and we're very lucky for all of his years of service. So also before I mention, once again, thank you very much to Thor for being dedicated to our community and our parks, and 3 of them are better because of his efforts. So I will actually get on to business now. So I am back to talk about Deerfield Park, our project that will be done soon. As with any construction project, you hit some snags and you find some things. And when we came, we awarded to Durban Construction. We've had a couple change orders come through over the process of construction, and a little bit more ADA work was needed to be done. As a result, it's taking us over our 10% threshold. That would mean that we could do it without coming back to council. So I'm just here as a formality to request that you approve that we're able to continue on with this work and have you all out there at the park in the spring, celebrating and having a good time with us.
Counselor?
Thank you. Quick question, sort of related, sort of not. Can we get a bike repair station at Deerfield Park?
It is something that we are chatting about. We want to make sure that we know there's a lot of traffic calming efforts going on right now on Waverly. It is a speedy place. We want to make sure that if we're putting resources out there, it's feeding into a system that is not, that maybe has a little bit more support. I don't know, I'm just looking for a blinky light out there, but we know the Transportation Commission's on that. So yes, long story, yes, we will work on that.
Nice, thank you.
So I have a favor.
Yes.
The FOR Mayor Contest winner last year, she didn't get a chance to do anything for the city. And so every year kids have done that. I was wondering if she can come out and be a part of the celebration.
We would love to have her out there.
Thank you.
No problem.
And it looks great, by the way. I drive by there all the time.
It's going to be, we're seeing a lot of people use the soft surface trail. The disc golf course is getting a lot of good use. I know my family will be out there on the playground as soon as it's done.
Councilor Van Dremelen?
I move to adopt the change order, or approve the change order as written.
Second.
Wow. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Enjoy, and let's get it done. So what's your timeline, though? March, April?
I've been told that I need to be, we're going to say spring is what I've been told from staff.
Okay.
As I'm still
I'll work with
too
that.
optimistic with construction. I see a date and I report it, and that's
Goes up, yeah.
yeah. So spring. As soon as it's ready, do not worry. We'll be shouting it from the rooftop. So.
Okay, thank you. So at the beginning of the meeting, I had a request from Councilor to move item, where's the valid score thing at?
3E.
3E, down to the action items, and let's have that discussion. Staff here? So your item 7G in your packet, my modifications.
Yes, staff is here. Sophie Adams, I manage economic development. I was really thankful that Rich was able to come here and talk a little bit about their story and who they are as a company. I thought, since we've already talked about that, I might just provide a little bit more context about this Enterprise Zone program as well, especially because we had a couple counselors that weren't here on Monday. In 2022, there was an impact study done at the state level over the incentive tools in Oregon, Enterprise Zone being the primary one that they looked at. The economic impact, this is a couple of things that study found. The economic impact of job and payroll growth created by the Oregon companies receiving these property tax incentives far exceeded the amount of the property taxes that were foregone. Not a surprise. And there's, of course, many other positive economic effects. The companies in the data set produced a net employment change of about 30,000 jobs. The economic impact of that is huge. Employment and payroll growth generated $17.4 billion in total economic output and $5 billion in total labor income in relation to more than 71,000 direct, indirect, and induced jobs in Oregon's economy. Don't worry, I can send you this report if you're interested. On top of that, for $1 million of output from participating companies, so for every 1 million, estimated 770,000 of increased output at other companies within the state that participate in some way with this company or in this economy. So there's a catalytic effect of you're not just incentivizing the production at one company, but there's that effect that spreads from that incentive. From an ROI standpoint, every $1 of property tax abated, enterprise-owned companies generated $29.16 in increased economic input. So that doesn't even take into account the huge increase in property taxes once those properties go back on the rolls after the 3 to 5 years. In Albany specifically, the enterprise-owned projects represent over $90 million in investment, hundreds of new living wage jobs, and over 55 times direct return on investment on just the property taxes alone. One last point, beyond the numbers and the jobs, these companies also typically become really invested in the Albany community beyond just doing business. So for example, Selmet donated 18 new welding machines to LBCC for their welding program. And another company has made 2 donations to our Adopt a Park program, and they're so great they want to remain anonymous. Businesses, small and large, they're the foundation that supports the community and all of the other wonderful things that we're able to do. And Oregon can be a tough place to do business. The governor's new prosperity roadmap outlines 3 strategic goals: grow GDP, create more living wage jobs, and retain and grow Oregon's businesses. So helping to keep an Oregon-grown business here through the use of a tool like Enterprise Zone accomplishes all 3. Thanks.
Discussion, council?
I really like to see that the wage for this, it was 125%?
Yeah, 150%.
Oh,
So
150.
I'm not sure if it's in my memo or not, but that equates to around over, I think it's over
It's like
82,000.
yeah, I was doing the math. So,
Yep.
question though, it said that an average of like the 40 positions added would be at that wage, correct? Is there gonna be an outlier? Is there gonna be like one person making $250,000 and the rest of people making $30,000? Like what is, I want some assurances here. So
Yeah.
that there's gonna be real family wage jobs for our community.
There are strict reporting standards, and those are all tracked. And so if they're not meeting that requirement, then they lose the benefit. I'd have to double check on exactly how that factors. It doesn't apply to their previous employment, the current jobs that they have. I believe it does apply to all of the new jobs, but I could just double check exactly how that's tracked for you.
So it's not current employees? Wouldn't they leave then the company if they aren't making the same as the new jobs?
Well, they could be doing different jobs. So the new employees, for example, would probably be attributed to the new type of business that they're able to do by creating their factory here. Yeah.
But so how is reading this, so you can confirm this or not, each of those jobs does not have to be at 150%. It would just be collectively the 40 jobs would have to meet the 150.
The new jobs have to meet that, correct.
So there might be some people that are paid much more, and people who paid much less. Is that correct? How much less are they allowed to be paid under the 150%? Like, are some
That's
people
not
gonna
a
be making-
stipulation of this program.
What do you mean?
The program doesn't stipulate any other wages except that the company can pay for any of their different jobs. The 150% applies to the new jobs that they're committing to create in exchange for qualifying for this incentive.
But could 10 of those jobs make $40,000 and the other one and 30 make much more, or vice versa?
I believe that it applies to each job, but that's something that I'll have to clarify for you.
Yes, I'd love to have that clarified.
I can do that.
Thank you.
Any other discussion, council?
Yes. Can we have Mr. Carter speak to that question? I'm not sure if he knows the answer. Is that, can we do that?
Yes, please.
Is that? Yeah,
We're talking about you. So
yeah, since you're here, I would love to hear from you again. Thank you.
I can't comment because I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. How best to answer this? I've been doing this for 13 years. I do it because I care about my employees. You're welcome to bring every one of them up here and ask them that same question. My intent is to give every single person a living wage job. It is not intent to pay 3 people $1 million and the rest nothing. That's not it. I don't remember the exact numbers because I'm being put on the spot and I'm a little nervous, to be really honest. But I take care of my employees and have some. Just to give you an illustration, we started offering health care as soon as we brought on our first employee in 2015. Since the day we started, I've paid 100% of the health care premium for every employee that's ever worked for us more than half time. I've matched into their 401k dollar for dollar up to 6% since we started doing that in 2015. We have never laid a single person off in 13 years. And so I don't know the numbers, so I don't want to lie to you, Councilman Newton, but I'm deeply committed to the community and to the people that work with me.
Awesome, thank you. Because, yeah, I do want to attract businesses to Albany, but I want them to be businesses that will pay our
Absolutely.
citizens well and take care of them and contribute. And that's just, I want our citizens to be able to afford a home.
Heck
and,
yeah.
you know, buy groceries and have a good life and enjoy everything that Albany has to offer. So I'm happy to
Absolutely.
hear that that is something that is a priority for you and seems like it's part of your company's culture. Thank you for your clarification.
I share your passion there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'll step back unless anybody else wants to ask me.
Councilman
Thank you.
McLeod? Council, do I have a motion?
I move to adopt the resolution for the enterprise zone as written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next business from the council. Yesterday, on Monday, I started with Ward 3. I'll start with Ward 2 today. Councilor Van Gemelen?
It has been a week. I do not have any business for the council tonight.
Councilor McLeod?
Thank you. Recently, I had the responsibility of serving on jury duty for a violent criminal trial, and I wanted to just speak to that for a couple minutes. That experience underscored for me the emotional and psychological toll that those proceedings can have on jurors. And while I understand that jury service is a cornerstone of our justice system, we also must recognize and address the challenges that can come with it. It was really tough. I was there for 4 days. The first 2 days, we were given compensation of $10 a day for the first 2 days, and then $25 a day after. And I will tell you that $10 a day does not even cover the lunch that I bought on those days. And I was not in the emotional state to be able to go home and make my own lunch after hearing the testimony that I heard on that first day. So I just wanted to indicate that I intend to work with our state legislature to advocate for improved compensation and expanded support services for jurors, including access to mental health resources for those who experience trauma as a result of their jury service. These measures are essential to ensure that civic duty does not come at the expense of personal well-being. And while I am happy to have done my civic duty, I will never be the same. And for those who have not served on jury duty before, it's tough. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go with Councilor Thompson.
No, I don't have anything tonight. Thank you.
Councilor Newton?
It's also been a week. We've also been home with a sick kid all week while trying to get a whole bunch of work done. Hand, foot, and mouth disease. Second time in the last 4 months. Great. But so yeah, I'm really grateful to see that people came today and spoke out about keeping our community safe. Just really, really great to be here right now. And I'm privileged that we were able to get that resolution passed. Thank you, Councilor McLeod, for bringing that forward, and thank you to everyone. I know that it's meaningful in the work that we're doing here. We're fortunate to be sitting up here behind this dais and to be able to have a positive impact. And thank you also, Mayor, for sharing your own story.
So, Councilor Smith?
I was dreading this meeting this evening because I recognize how painful the last few weeks have been nationally It reminds me of my own family. I have an uncle who is Japanese. I have cousins who are Korean. I have a very dear friend in Vancouver, British Columbia, who was born in an internment camp. I didn't know there were internment camps during World War II in British Columbia, but she was born there. It's disheartening to me that human beings can treat each other like others, like they're not fellow human beings. There's nothing wrong with immigration. There are legal processes to follow, and I hope that people can do that without being pulled out of a line that they've been waiting in for a long time in order to be a legal resident here. I am pleased with the resolution. I think it will be relatively easy to make good on that by putting information on the website and improving any communication that we may have with people who need it, and encouraging, like Councilor Thompson said, neighbors and friends and churches and schools to help protect people. Going back to the Hillsborough discussion earlier, one of the things that they have done there is to organize neighbors, parents, in a way sort of like school crossing guards, only lining sidewalks to make sure that children can walk to their schools safely without any ugly surprises. It's more than the city council. We support the efforts of our residents and our neighbors and our friends and encourage them to act on that in Albany, because Albany is a good place, and we want it to stay that way.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor McGee.
Two things. One, a resident sent an email, and maybe this is for Kim. I'm just gonna read it. They said they own a home in Hillshire Farms. They are a singing duo and would like to sign up to perform, or if there's a way to perform around the city. And they play instruments too. And they said to let them know ASAP. And I said, I'm looking to that.
Tell them to email me and I'll pass them along to our program staff as we're looking for some local groups to perform at our concerts that we're going to take on the move this summer. So,
Okay, great. I thought that was it, but I wanted to double check.
Oh, I appreciate it. Spread the word. Hopefully, well, we know we got a lot of talented people, so thank you.
Okay. Second thing is happy belated birthday to my fellow Counselor Newt. We share a birthday, which was Monday. I was absent because I needed time to reset. I was in a car accident on Wednesday of last week. I was in a pileup on I-5. And it was one of the most terrifying moments of my life because someone was sitting idle in the merge lane, just not moving, and they had their blinkers if they were gonna move. And I slowed down because I was paying attention, but the person behind me maybe was not. And they hit me, then somebody hit them, and then if another car hit me, I would have spun into ongoing traffic. So it was really, really scary. But with all that being said, I'm grateful to be alive and grateful to have celebrated another birthday. And I'm going to keep the celebration going this weekend because I need it.
Might as well.
That's all I have.
So the young man's left already, Thor. I was with him when he installed the one at Grand Prairie Park. They had a group of kids, and each of the young people got a chance to participate in the installation of the bike tools. So I was really happy to see that. They were laughing, the dads were helping, and he looked so good with leading that group of kids, putting those things together. So if you haven't seen it, go to Grand Prairie Park or one of the parks he mentioned. He did a great job. And I came from, it was a Saturday or something, I came from work, came from home, and they were just ready to go. It was like, it was pretty awesome to see that. The If I Were Mayor contest is going on right now. Teachers, if you want me to come and talk to the kids about the mayor's contest, I already got 4 people have asked me to come. I'm putting them on the schedule. because our kids excel in that program. Our children won first place 4 years in a row at state level, at different levels, and also additional second or third place all 4 years. So let's make it happen again this year and get these young folks involved. And also, last Friday, my hero, Michael Calvin, passed away from leukemia. He's a Marine Corps veteran, football coach, track coach, 40 years at Calexico High School. And 8 months before that, my Aunt Georgine passed away, his wife. So it's been a rough week. Like I said, it's been a week. And but I'll be leaving here, going to his services. Calexico High School is having the funeral at the high school. Over 1,000 people said they were coming. So Calvin Armstrong was my hero. Loved him very much. With that, City Manager report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have two things. Just a reminder that the ARA meeting will convene after you adjourn, given a few minutes of a break. And then also to let you know that I will be out of town tomorrow and Friday, and Caleb Barber will be acting city manager.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll be visiting my daughter and her husband in Denver.
Nice. Well, safe travels. Next, item 10, next meeting dates is Monday, February 9th, 2026, and at 4 p.m. at a work session. Wednesday, February 11th, 2026, 6 p.m. for a meeting, city council meeting. But February 8th is football fan Super Bowl. It's our church. So enjoy your game, have a good time, and the Seahawks are in it, so support the Hawks. With that, I'll adjourn the meeting.